Out in the world today, which do you think is winning? Hope or uncertainty? Why is that?
I'm a Christian and follow the teaching of the cross. But do I have faith in the world? No. The world has a huge number of issues and now need to change to make the world a better place. Do I think the world is the best it's ever been today? No. Humans are always planning everything to have hope for a better life and future. That's why we are here. To live in hope through time of uncertainty. In Iran, I lived through double discrimination, and that was a real struggle, but I learned through putting up with that situation. I learned how to survive and be a survivor. If everything collapsed in the future, people will have to still have to survive and find to improve things. My hope is that people find for survival.
I feel like, to me, uncertainty feels like a much more powerful driving force than hope, which might sound weird, but to be uncertain is to know that something needs to change, but to be hopeful feels like something will get better on its own. I find the power to make a change within that uncertainty.
I think that uncertainty is winning, because for there to be hope, I think there needs to be a more sort of concerted effort for unification, and we have that certainly in small parts for small causes, or for causes that are very needed and like vital. But I think that there is such fragmentation on many levels. I think, again, coming from the perspective of living in the United States, it's hard to say that there's hope when I think a lot of people would unanimously agree that right now it is resoundingly uncertain as to what is going on, because we are not being communicated to, and simultaneously there is extreme violence happening. So it's very hard to feel hopeful. That's what I would say. I think that also there are some times when it's not the right time to feel hopeful, because things need to be difficult for people to realize that change needs to happen. And so I don't think that now is necessarily a time to have hope. I think now is a time to be acknowledging the serious problems that we're facing. And we have to sort of really come together in the discussion and working around those. I'm speaking very vaguely because, this ranges from police brutality in the United States, from the death of Black and brown people on the streets in the United States, to the way that people are refusing to wear masks. Like it's the way that the leader of this country is conducting himself every day. There is not one thing right now that I could say looks hopeful in the larger sense of things. And that's just, me being honest. I think that hope right now is not what we need. I think it's an appropriate time for frustration, and I think it's an appropriate time for that frustration being used to bring people together to fight and to educate before there can be hope. Radical change doesn't come from trying to feel hopeful in a hopeless time. I think radical change comes from being angry, and using that anger to really find ways to make fundamental change. So
I'm definitely feeling more hopeful. I like to think I could go further with my artwork, like having a bigger exhibition and then people at the general public could see what you can achieve after a brain injury?
I think a bit of both. Hope for change is quite present, and uncertainty because it's creating conversation. But I think for me, I'm a bit of a not pessimist, but wary. I'm quite aware that this could be a fad, and for once it's out of people's sight and mind, we're back in the same place.
You can view the Future is Loading exhibition on our Instagram and our website at www.shapearts.org.uk.